Bo, and good morning to everybody. We want to say thanks to the 1.5 million listeners we have all across this great world that keep sending us questions and answers. We're going to go all the way out to Texas, talk to a new football program. It's the University of Incarnate Word and new head coach, Coach Santiago. Sir, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Bo. How are you?
Coach, you know, with a new program, you're probably working straight 24 hours a day for the last 4 weeks.
Oh, don't exaggerate. It's only been about 22 hours a day. I do get about 2 hours of sleep. But, no, it's a new program. It's awesome. We're just, getting ready to kick it off.
Well, it seems as though you got tons of support from the media, from the alumni, from the fan base, from what we've been reading. You know, it's always nice to have a brand new program with all the energy level and all the positive vibes you have with your program right now.
Oh, there's no doubt, and the biggest supporter of this program obviously is Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints. Tom and Gail are funding this thing. It's made that part a lot easier because we haven't had to really worry about monies.
That's always the extra plush there for yourself, Coach. You've also been schooled in some of the best programs in the country as far as your background. Obviously, Western Michigan's on a national circuit. They've got a Hall of Fame quarterback right now. Looks like he's going to destroy the previous all-time records. You've got NC State, one of our favorite places on the map to stop by. You've got a very nice resume to bring to that program.
Well, I appreciate that. The nicest part of that resume are the guys I worked with at those places. I mean, Monty Kiffin down at NC State, Pete Carroll and Carl Smith were the two coordinators. Up at Western Michigan, Jack Harbaugh and John. John was a GA for us at Western Michigan. And then I can't where I started at Lamar University in Beaumont with Larry Kennan. Probably, he's my mentor. So. I've been very fortunate to be around some great guys and learn a lot of great stuff from them.
Coach, now, for a lot of fans who do not realize, because as you know, fans don't pay attention to a lot of stuff outside of the stats and did you win last game. But from your standpoint, what is the biggest hurdle you're going to have this season? Forget the off-field for right now, but on the field. What is something you're going to have to really convey to these young men before the game starts in a matter of a few hours?
Some of them how to put on their pads and take the field is the biggest thing. We're playing. We have 85 players in camp. We added another 20 players Monday when school started. Those 85 players in camp, 63 of them are freshmen or redshirt freshmen, and I can honestly say that there's about 78 of them that have never really played a college football game.
Yeah, when most programs are looking for some senior leadership, you're just looking for a senior to come into the program. But with that, Coach, is you get a chance to build with these young men, and through hardship, it seems that most programs tend to arise and be stronger as they go down this path, for the degree. That's got to be the toughest hurdle for you to go through, is you know how hard it's going to be when the season starts, and you know what those eyes are going to be like halfway through a season.
Oh, yeah, it's, we do have one senior. We actually have Todd Walker, a transfer from Texas Tech, who is, he graduated from Tech, has a year eligibility left. He's working on a second degree in chemistry, has just taken the MCAT, and has a year to wait to go to medical school, so he's gonna play football with this new program at Incarnate Word. But it's a process, is the best way I can say it. And everything we do, we're actually wearing patches on our jerseys that say UIW football forever first. And that's kind of our slogan for this year. Everything these kids do is a first time, from their first camp to their first pregame meal to, we had to practice pregame warm-up because they've never been through it. So, yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, as you know, been through this program, the hardest ones to deal with the academic side of it and then the practice side of it is the freshman. There's a lot of maturity growth that goes on in a football season. A lot of people equate it kind of sort of with an 8th grader stepping into a high school role where the requirements are a lot harder. There's a lot more eyes on them, and sometimes they fold by the wayside. In college, it is just magnitude, especially in a program that's starting off the ground. There are so many missing ends you've got to put together. There's so many pieces you've got to have set up, and then you've got thousands of people watching what you do at all times. A lot of these young people are probably going to get awestruck when they start stepping into these stadiums.
I don't think there's any doubt. We've got right now we're still working construction on our stadium. We built right here on campus, which is a beautiful campus here in San Antonio. San Antonio is a river city. The river actually originates on UIW campus here, but we're built. We've got 3,000 seats built right now. We only have one side of the stadium constructed with the new $1.8 million turf field and field house and. But we're with 3,000 seats. We're expecting 5,500 to 6,000 people this Saturday.
Yeah, I would say that would be an understatement with as much energy that your program brings to the table. We've seen a lot of programs over the last 40 years cut their football budgets, cut the football programs, and many of those same programs are in closed-door discussions. We get to talk to them on air. Have regretted that decision because it wasn't a good decision. It was a quick fix for a situation that had other, resolutions that could have taken place. Your program is, set in stone. Now, how did the Saints owners get involved in your program?
Oh, there you go. Now you're getting in deep into the UIW history. The University of Incarnate Word is a private Catholic school here in San Antonio, and the Bensons. Tom started his businesses and his business career here in San Antonio. His wife, Gail, is actually on Dr. Agnesi, our president's development board. And so when that happened, Tom got involved. I've got Doc. I'm looking out my window here. I've got Dr. Agnesi's penthouse looking over the one side of the field, and I got Tom and Gail Benson's condominium looking over the other side. So that's how they got involved. Tom and Gail have been very good to a lot of the educational institutions here in San Antonio and throughout Texas.
When you hear about owners giving back to a community, it makes you feel good. There is, with everything going on in professional sports these days, that there's always bad news. There's only a few guys really screwing it up for the rest, especially in the college ranks where coaches like yourself, there's people with money to help out those programs and those young educators. They hear more stories about the Bensons is what I think the major media need to focus on. Everything that is done well. There's a bunch of owners in Kalamazoo, Michigan, that have deep pockets. They've gone out to the community and done a lot of things for college kids to help them out and get them in the right direction. To have somebody like that part of your program, to have that initial input, and then they're going to be there for the long haul of the program. It's got to be very reassuring for you. No pressure, Coach, right?
No pressure at all. I got to tell you a quick story. Roger Goodell actually came down and spoke here on campus for us last year. Gail and Tom got it worked out with Dr. Agnesi, our president, and we were walking through the building, and Roger kind of backed up to Rochelle and I, my wife, and kind of asked some really good questions. How are they treating you? Hey, Roger, they're treating us great. And he says, do they understand what you're going to go through? And I kind of pointed up to Dr. Agnesi and Mr. Benson, and I said, those two guys up there, they think we're winning the national championship the first year, and Roger said, he was afraid of that he'd talk to them. But I say that jokingly, Tom, Mr. Benson started an NFL franchise from scratch, so he understands.
Yeah, you look across the board right now. 20, 40 years ago, if you were talking D2 program, there wouldn't be that much discussion, that many eyes, that much pressure. You really had a nice chance. Even now, you still have chances to take guesswork. You have an opportunity to look at athletes and realize that maybe in 2 years they're going to grow into their bodies. But now, with the new age of media, there is not a D2 program that doesn't have NFL scouts looking through the lines. There's, obviously with the Grand Valley here, the Saginaw Valley's in the state of Michigan, there's just a big, awareness of the GLIAC and how powerful it is. And even now, there's more and more viewers following the D2 programs across the country. And for you to step into a role like you did, I think a lot of people are really going to look to Texas now and see what happens with that new program.
I don't think there's any doubt. And one of the big milestones for this program